Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the weekly summit NerdTube edition. Because this is a NerdTube exclusive this week, just because our cohorts over at No Budget Production had some stuff going on. So we are now doing this right here on your boys' channel. Anyway, I am joined by two illustrious co-hosts. I'll start with D Jose. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right, man. Great to see you guys, and excited to talk about some stuff.
It almost sounded like you said dick-sided. Just and the compadre to my right, who is the Zamario.
The
Good
Zamario.
morning from United Kingdom. I wake up early, go to bed early, and wake up early on a weekend so I can give you guys me.
And Daniel Vance is with us in the chat. So howdy, boy. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot to talk about. We kind of are going to do the same format we did last week, where it's like we got a ton of crap to talk about. We didn't want to skip out just because we were ready and there was so much to do. We are going to be talking about Peacemaker today, the latest episode, because we really didn't get a chance to do a breakdown and discussion on on NerdTube, just with Discovery returning and everything like that. On top of that, we're also talking about the DC 2022 trailer that came out, with footage from Black Adam, The Flash, the Batman, and there's a Aquaman too. So that's great. And on top of that, what else, Zane? What else are we talking about? I'm losing my train of thought here.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about the wrestling as well, because there were some things that have happened recently, as well as some things that will be happening in the future as well. We can still go on more about Star Trek as well, Book of Boba Fett as well. We can talk about. I've seen a show called Reacher, which is on Amazon Prime. I'd like to briefly talk about, which is based on Jack Reacher as well. So, and obviously Jurassic Park World Dominion, the sixth Jurassic Park movie. It'll be nice to talk about that, because a trailer came out for that, and I think we should start with that, to tell you the truth. Get that one out of the way. You don't mind putting up the trailer, do you?
I mean, we'll get demonetized for it, but do we care?
Yeah, I don't care really. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of pumped. I'm kind of pumped for that. Jurassic Park Dominion. It's really going out with a bang, so to speak. I might
this
give
is
away.
it, huh? They're getting ready to wrap it up.
I think, yeah, and I'm the type of person to believe that, if you can still make something good, because after they made Toy Story 3, I was kind of a bit concerned about Toy Story 4, but Toy Story 4 is fucking brilliant, and it made me realize that you don't have to end a franchise if you can still make something good.
Mm-hmm.
But this time around with Jurassic Park 6 or Jurassic World 3, however you want to call it, I think it's a good way to tie a bow on this franchise. And if you do go forward with it, maybe television show or something like that, but you don't need this grandiose thing, But I'm liking the direction they're going now. I have to admit, Jurassic World 2 or Jurassic Park 5, what you want to call it, was fucking terrible. It's a fucking, but it ended in a way that, like, it ended really well. Well, no, no, I'll take that back. It ended in a way that made you think to yourself, "Wow, I can't wait to see the next movie," because now things have got really interesting.
Yeah, it kind of had that. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
I say it kind of had that Terminator 3 vibe to it, like crap movie, but the ending almost made it worth it, because they actually made the change. Like like in Terminator 3, Judgment Day happened. The rest of the movie was garbage, but it actually happened. Like Judgment Day happened.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I equated that. Like we've been talking about dinosaurs out in the world for how long now, and they finally did the thing.
They finally done it, because in previous ones, dinosaurs were on an island, or maybe one dinosaur, like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park Lost World, was set on Los Angeles or whatever. But this time round, dinosaurs are all over the world. At the end of Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Dominion, dinosaurs were let loose on the world, and humans and dinosaurs had to coexist. And now we're going to see if they can coexist, because this film is about that. And not only is this movie about that, we're going to be getting the original crew as well. We're getting Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill come back, along with Chris
the
Pratt.
OGs are coming back. I might have to check this one out.
Yeah,
well, if you want, we can watch it really quick. Or do you just want to break it down?
Let's watch the trailer. Let's watch it.
Okay. Tell me if it's too loud or not.
It's fine.
Yep, it's good.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch. Creation is an act of sheer will.
The same gravitas as it once did. Yeah, I agree.
We'll find a way.
We can't keep her here forever.
If they find her, we're never going to see her again. We got to protect her. That's our job.
The baby blue.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
Gosh, I don't. She doesn't even look the same.
Come out all this way just to catch
In
up.
30 years.
You coming or what?
She looks a bit shiny. This is the interesting part to me.
Toward the extinction of our species. We not only lack dominion over nature, we're subordinate to it.
The feathers.
Yeah. That interests me.
The
I don't know what that
evolution.
is.
I always come back.
Fascinating. You gotta have your raptors.
That's another plane, right?
Not exactly.
At first glance, I thought that was Michael Burnham. Like the way she said
That's not
that.
to eat Martin Green, man.
Yeah.
These different shades, for Christ's sake.
The what?
These different shades. Not even the same sort of skin tone.
Just the way she said it. It sounded like her.
Bigger. Why do they always have to go bigger?
It wouldn't be Jurassic Park if they didn't go bigger.
I know that's always
Yeah,
the thing.
it seems to be the only thing they can do is that we need to go bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say this trailer's got me really intrigued. I mean, to get out of like the previous Jurassic Parks, they were always contained. To get now for this to be worldwide.
Yeah, now I'm curious to watch this one.
This is
because it's not confined to an island. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, now they go out into the world and it'll have an impact on the world.
I mean, I've wanted this since The Lost World because although I know that the part of like the T-Rex in Los Angeles or whatever was
very
kind of
King Kong like.
Yeah, it was kind of a nightmare for some people. I actually enjoyed it a bit. And so I was just kind of like, I kind of want to see more of this. Like, that's what I was kind of hoping they would do with the third one. But instead, everybody gave him so much flack for putting the dinosaurs on the island that, or the dinosaurs in the city that I don't think we got it for that reason. That's why we got Jurassic Park 3 the way we did.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, but it's good to see Sam Neill back. Good to see Laura Dern back. Jeff Goldblum back. It's good to see Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard back. Glad to see Bryce Dallas Howard still acting because I forgot that she was, because it seemed that she'd be full on director after some of the stuff she's done with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see her back in front of the screen as well. Yeah, I think that we even saw the young girl. I mean, I have to admit, the young little girl from Jurassic World 2, Jurassic Park 5, she really pissed me off. because she's the one who caused all this shit. So,
Damn kids.
yeah. Well, she's a fucking clone, isn't she? So,
Hmm.
so yeah.
You
It's
feel
all her
like you've
fault.
seen every one of these sets in Black Widow, probably because you have. It's Hollywood.
I mean, I didn't realize that until he said it, but there were probably a couple sets that,
Mm-hmm.
like the whole, like there was probably a couple places that looked the same. Maybe they got them on discount after Marvel was done with them.
Yeah, like, yo, here you go.
Oh Lord. I mean, no, I mean, I'm actually excited for this one. I'm interested to see what they do with the whole feathers thing because I mean, it's been ever since Jurassic Park 1, everyone has always said that, that we keep evolving what we know about dinosaurs in the past 30 years. So it's like, it's kind of changing to the fact that now, I mean, we do know that probably dinosaurs had feathers and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting. What does that mean? Because a lot of the excuses is in the DNA, they were using frog DNA to make up the gaps in DNA. So that's why they were more like lizards, like, they didn't have the feathers, was because they were using frog DNA. Does that mean that they're getting purer samples, or they're getting better at refining their cloning technology of, old dinosaurs, or like old dinosaur genetics and stuff like that? So it's actually kind of interesting to see where they go with this. That interests me.
I
Because
just thought it was the evolution of dinosaurs, because Alan Grant said that they became birds, and then we see that little boy, remember in Jurassic Park 1, saying that's not very scary, and then he fucking talks about spilling his intestines and stuff like that.
I mean, maybe, but it's too short of a time span for them to evolve. Like, in my opinion, like I feel like you would need.
No, I agree. Evolution is something that takes a long period of time, but these are not naturally created.
And you're right. So that might play a factor too. So I was kind of hoping that it was maybe more like they're kind of like, maybe these are dinosaurs that have more of a pure actual dinosaur genetic material rather than merged with the frogs or whatever they did originally. So I think I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be the fact that they're finally like roaming about, like getting into the world. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because this is what I've wanted for a long time in the Jurassic movies. And I'm just surprised it's taken this long for them to get here. And now,
as I said, I think we would have gotten it in Jurassic Park 3 if it wasn't for the backlash that they got from the LA scene with the T-Rex. I really feel like they would have gone that route.
You got backlash for that?
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh, people hated that part, like that dinosaur in Los Angeles thing, like the what was it, the 76 ball rolling past, and
people were like, we can't have that.
I thought it was very King Kong. I mean, it just gave me King Kong vibes, but with a T-Rex. That's all I got. But for people to hate it,
oh yeah, a lot. I mean, maybe it was just a states thing. I don't know. Like a lot of people, they got a lot of backlash from that. So that's why I think we got the Jurassic Park 3 we got. So because they were really building up to getting the dinosaurs into, like over, because you remember from the movie there was supposed to be a freaking park in LA.
I think for this finale, they're gonna have to go out with a bang, because if they're really wrapping it up and saying goodbye to the entire franchise, they got to go all out with this.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder how it's going to end. Maybe we get another meteorite, and then it wipes out the dinosaurs and the human race.
No, they're gonna get on a space shuttle. Elon Musk is gonna get them on a space shuttle and launch it.
Yeah, they're gonna do something totally unrealistic. Like you'll see a dinosaur and a human go to space.
It'll be a Jurassic space.
Yep. It'll be like when Power Rangers, like they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we're getting wrecked, so we got to go to space, and that's exactly what happened. The Power Rangers went to space. It'll be the same thing with Jurassic Park. Now Jurassic Park is going to space.
This is why I recommend that you guys watch this movie called Don't Look Up, which is on Netflix right now with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, because it's just so fucking good, because it just basically is about a fucking meteorite that's going to hit Earth. And it's so fucking good because people just don't take it seriously, like the pandemic, for instance. You know what I mean? And you can see you can relate to it and stuff like that.
Yeah, because we're currently still fucking going through.
Yeah.
Speaking of Netflix, I don't know if, I know you guys know because we talked off air, they're raising the fucking prices of Netflix here in the States anyway, which is ridiculous. If you have the premium plan, it's going to go up to $20 if you're premium plan subscriber.
By the way, DH, great segue, dude. You are host material.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
No,
like,
I know.
come on,
And you know what? They're talking about taking the Marvel stuff off of there, and I think they're going to lose my subscription soon because
Yeah.
I mean, not that I watch the Marvel Netflix stuff all the time, but I just like the fact that it's there and I can watch it when I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if that's coming off there, I mean, there's probably, I would say, not much on there that I'd watch. Now I know that Zam, you guys overseas, you guys get a lot of your stuff on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah.
Instead of on like the streaming services. So I mean, I would understand you guys keeping that, but like us, it's like,
Yeah, here in the States, I don't really see Netflix staying around.
Well, I mean,
it's because they pay too much for Rock
it's,
movies.
It's weird in a way. There are some good stuff. I mean, I feel Netflix is good at one thing, but not good at the other. Like what they are good at is television shows, but their films suck. They really do. They do shit movies. Now they have come up with a few good ones, as I mentioned. Don't Look Up, but even that film wasn't theirs initially. It was something they bought and then put on their subscription service. I think the only decent film they've kind of made, and that's just a regular popcorn flick, is Red Notice, the one with The Rock and Wonder Woman and fucking Deadpool. That's not too bad. But I've seen a few of their movies and they're fucking bollocks. But their television shows are not too bad. But it's just like we're so inundated with streaming services now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they said that streaming services were going to kill cable TV, and in a way they did. But now you got to wonder, with all these damn streaming services, how much of this shit are you really willing to pay for?
It's paying for cable. It's like like you pay for this many services. You're basically paying for cable and stuff like that. And unfortunately, even though I agree with Bobby on this, piracy is bad. It's just going to encourage piracy because people can't afford to pay for all these services. There's just too many services out there, and people want to watch everything and they can't afford to pay for everything. So what they're going to do? They're going to go down the piracy route. I mean, I'm subscribed to 3 or 4 services myself. It's ridiculous.
Netflix just recently bought a failing theater in California.
Yeah, I've heard that because they want to be able to put up their movies for nomination, because technically they don't put their movies into theaters. So technically a lot of the awards are like, well, technically these are not theatrical releases. So they're not.
So that's why they're going to do that now.
Yeah. Which I think, honestly, a Netflix theaters is not a terrible idea. Like, as long as they open it up to like other people being able to put their stuff in there too, like Amazon and all those others. I mean, I can see Jeff Bezos buying a like AMC or something and turning it into Amazon theaters. I mean, I can see it. Come on, like
he's got Amazon Fresh. Have you guys got Amazon Fresh in America?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been in one yet.
And I just read this too. They're also raising the thing up to, if you're a Prime member, it's gone from 120 to, I think now it's going to go up to 140. Good Lord, Jeff Bezos, dude. All this just to get your yacht through a fucking bridge?
Yeah.
That's why we're paying for this?
And he has to send his dildo to space. So
for real. Come on, man.
Yeah, for what was it for 90 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, it's so stupid. Like, I'm sorry, like I don't want to get into the Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos debate and everything like that. But like, I mean, if you're sending people to space for what did we say it was 15 minutes? Like,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, like really, like if you're going to send people to space, do it for a good reason, not like for space, like partial penetration.
This is what bugs me now as well. Like just to actually go on a little bit about this, is that no longer are we relying on companies, or I don't want to say companies, but organizations like NASA, which are designed to do space travel, space research. Out the closest thing we got to Starfleet, basically. Now it's billionaire playboys, what I mean? They're the ones doing it, and it's like, come on, like
I'm sorry,
like,
but you know what?
for,
But what is
for their
but-
vanity?
Yeah, but I mean, what has NASA done in the past 10 years besides retire the space shuttles? They're just now rolling out their Orion
Well,
capsules.
but they rely on our tax money, and then they rely on the government to fund them. But you got people who are more interested in fucking going to war than to bloody
And that's what I'm
than
saying
than for
is,
research.
and that's what I'm saying is like
Yeah,
the NASA's budget is 0.3% of the American budget, like 0.03 or something like that. Like, come on. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if the United States government is not going to put an effort into at least putting a couple percent into their space program, then I'm sorry. Like, it's not worth it. And I get it. Like, when you have a 700 trillion or billion, maybe we're
I
billion,
don't know, but
$700
it's still
billion
lots.
military. Like, really, you can't spare 1% or 2 for that with that $9,000 wrench you bought? Like, I don't put enough faith in the government and the politicians behind it and the military behind all that, just
Well,
because.
today's governments for sure, like they're focused on personal wealth, instead of like doing what's best for society and improving our society. One of the things that made me admire America as a kid was the fact that you fuckers were sending people to space all the time, space projects all the fucking time. And it's just a shame that that's not continuing anymore because, sorry, I've kind of lost my train of thought, but it's just a shame that's not continuing anymore.
And I agree
Anyways.
with you, and that's kind of why I'm as I said, I'm not backing like Elon Musk is like a person. I'm just like from what I'm seeing, I mean his program is doing well.
Just
and
don't put a microchip in my brain, mate. That's all.
Well,
I'm saying.
and I agree with you on that. That is one of those things that I'm like, that's a bit.
Yeah,
no,
we ain't
I'm
doing
good.
that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
It's not about the he'll control you and you'll be a robot for Elon Musk. The brain is who you genuinely are. I could lose my hands and get them replaced. I'm still Zam. You fuck with this, I might not be Zam anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
you.
so
Wait a minute. We need to get
might not swear anymore. That's going to be weird. If that ever
DH.
happened.
We need to get a chip in Zam's brain.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
All right, so I mean, do we want to talk any more about Netflix and all that, or
No, I'm good.
okay?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so do we want to move on to the DC trailer that came out?
Yeah, go on, throw it on there.
All right, I already got it up. So it's a minute long, and it's just kind of showing
that looks like London.
I mean, it might be. I mean, Gotham has some of that architecture that's like.
Well, they used a bit of that for the Christian Bale movies, So,
oh, and by the way, I just want to throw out there that on our poll on our channel at Nerdtube, I put a poll out there about best live action Batman, and Christian Bale won, and I am severely disappointed in people.
It's recency bias, dude.
Ben Affleck was recency.
Yeah, but still, like Ben Affleck was part of an ensemble. Like, but Christian Bale was in solo movies. So to speak.
For the really old school, they're gonna say Adam West is the best Batman of all time, the TV Batman.
After we're done with watching this, and while we're talking about this, I'm going to bring up the poll because maybe while we're talking about this, we can talk also about the because I did want to bring this up. And I was going to make my own like little video about it, saying how disappointed I am in Batman fans. But I'd say we can just do it here, just because I don't care. All right, we ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who are you under there?
I'm Batman.
My son dreamt of a better world. That's why he saved me.
Oh boy.
You can go to any timeline, any universe.
Don't fuck it up, Barry.
Oh, that's what he's gonna do.
He always fucks it up, dude.
Be greater than a king.
This is the first bit of Aquaman footage I've seen, though. Aquaman 2, that is.
Yeah.
I just got goosebumps.
Who are they?
No idea.
If we don't stand up, no one will.
Are all these movies coming out in 2022?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, Hawkman.
Oh, Hawkman.
And Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Waiting for you.
I forgot the name of that guy.
The Atom.
Are you in?
No, it's the other one.
not the Atom. Atom
Like the
Smasher.
the evil version.
Oh shit! None of these are going to be on HBO Max, huh? Damn.
Oh yeah.
Well, at least not yet, anyway.
All right. So, thoughts? I mean, yeah, we just saw some of our first Aquaman footage. That's new footage from Black Adam. Obviously, we got our first look at Hawkman.
Black Adam is my most anticipated of the DC films this year. Looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with it, because it's been a long time since they said that Black Adam was going to come into the DC universe, but now he's
10
finally
years.
here. Yeah, because they've been talking about him coming in for a long time.
Yeah, and to see what Dwayne Johnson's like the physical. I mean, like he was already like a mammoth, piece of man meat. But to see the additional transformation he did to his body, like his quadriceps, which are like
freak.
His quads, man. I couldn't get over the look of his quads.
Yeah,
like they were like the definition he put into his body, man. Like to get even more bulgier. Amazing, absolutely amazing. I mean, there's a guy who's dedicated to his art. Hawkman looked pretty cool.
Yeah, Hawkman looks awesome.
I just my only concern with DC is it just takes them forever to do anything, and so great, we got this now, and then it'll take like 15 years for them to fucking continue after this, it just they're just so slow at doing anything.
Yeah, it's gonna take them a while because they'll be like, all right, you got this, but now you won't have shit for the next like 2 years.
I was about to say that would be my
2 years.
concern.
2 years is
2 years minimum.
2 years is don't mistake DC for Marvel. Marvel, like back to back Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame. They don't fuck around. In 11 years, they brought out 23 films. 23 films in 11 years. That is astonishing.
And they could theoretically do a box set of everything if they ever wanted to. The bank that they could get from that, if they ever did it. Oh yeah, and then here's a poll for Batman.
So I mean,
what in the hell? What's wrong with you people?
Like Adam West is 13%. Michael Keaton is only 22%. Ben Affleck is 13%. Which I'm sorry, I voted for Ben Affleck. When I broke it all down, I'm like, I gotta go with Affleck. I like Affleck as Batman the best. Just beats out Michael Keaton by that much.
Yeah, I'm a more of a Michael Keaton guy, but I can't argue that though.
Christian Bale 48%.
Damn.
I tried to give Val Kilmer and George Clooney a fighting chance and put them together.
I don't really have a dog in this fight, to tell you the truth. Like Michael Keaton's only been in 2 films. People forget. Ben Affleck's been in more fucking movies than those guys.
Yeah.
Adam West. It's so weird in a way because he like the other Batmans are more in a similar vein. Even George Clooney's Batman. I mean, George Clooney's Batman's the closest to Adam West as well as the others. But I'm not really. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I'm not fussed. I've never been that fussed about it. I'm just happy that we get Batman. I'm hoping Robert Pattinson ends up destroying it. Yeah.
Well, I almost put Robert Pattinson in place of George Clooney, Val Kilmer, but we haven't even seen the film yet.
Yeah, so we don't know yet. We'll have to revisit it when it comes time.
It's a bit weird as well because Robert Pattinson's Batman, just to go back to that trailer, he's the only one who's not part of the same universe, whilst the other 3 are, I believe. But Black Adam, Flash, and Aquaman. So I don't know. Like you just don't know where things are going. Sometimes I don't mind them making individual projects and stuff. I don't even know if they're gonna do an EU now. It's weird in a way. Should they do an EU? It's hard to say, especially now. It's like Henry Cavill was no longer Superman, and
it's hard
Ben Affleck.
Because it's like you said. The fact is we don't get a lot of shit from DC. It's like when we do, this is the problem with DC. They're putting all this shit out in the same year. Why are you doing that? Like Marvel will sprinkle their shit out. That's what DC needs to do.
Even Marvel, but Marvel, they'll bring out 3 or 4 films a year now.
Yeah,
I
think Marvel's kind of pushing it a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean they bring out television like this. Last year alone, they had like 4 or 5 television shows,
Mhm.
and they, if you include the Sony stuff, they had 5 movies. You know,
Yeah.
it was incredible. You know,
Almost makes you wonder too much content. Like it's like
yeah.
a
Well,
lot
they
to
kind of
digest.
I have to say now, regarding Eternals, I think they kind of fucked up with that one.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm one of those that has not seen Eternals yet. It's been out all this time and I still ain't seen it.
So
I've
it's on Disney Plus now. You can watch it.
Yeah,
On Disney.
I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard some people kind of like it. Some people are kind of like, it's okay.
I mean,
Well,
yeah, it wasn't a garbage film, but no, I mean, Zam's right. Like it's kind of, it's like, yeah, like it's worth watching, but like it's not. Unfortunately,
I would watch once and never watch again kind of movie.
Much. That's where I'm at. I mean,
okay.
You got too much of
it'll save me money.
You got an ensemble cast, and it's really hard to have that many characters on screen who you meet for the first time and give them credence. You know, like, I do disagree with Bobby and Ginger, because we spoke about this before, and I said that this should have been a television show. You know, and those guys disagree, but with that many characters, it should have been.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong completely. I mean, at least in hindsight. But at the same time, I always go back to the way they shit the bed with Inhumans, and
lightning doesn't have to strike twice. You know, I mean, they could have done a better version.
Well, and plus we have Disney Plus, and Kevin Feige's more involved with Disney Plus shows. So Inhumans was just an ABC product. I mean, we saw what they did with
it. Was an abomination, dude. You could tell it was shit within 5 minutes of watching it. You know, which is why I gave up after the first episode. It was just absolutely awful in every department. The look of it, the acting, the costumes, the hairstyles. It was just fucking.
It's funny because awful. The best actor and the best thing about that show was Black Bolt, who doesn't talk, and he did a fantastic job. And now he's playing Christopher Pike in Star Trek. So I honestly never put 2 and 2 together with those two. So
there you go. So. But but everything else, I'm looking forward to another Batman. I do think DC overdoes it with Batman, in my opinion. They've got such a large variety of fucking superheroes and supervillains, and it's good to see, the more fringe ones like Black Adam, who's been played by The Rock, so he's going to get the superstardom treatment. But it's good to see these ones, come into play. I just wish DC were more consistent. They didn't keep things on the back burner too often. They brought out more stuff on a regular basis. They didn't have infighting and stuff like that. Had somebody in charge to make it, not Joss Whedon, who was obviously a joke. I would still say I'd go with God, what's his name? The guy who made Snyder. Maybe he.
Yeah, no, I don't want Snyder touching the DC universe. I'm sorry, like I don't want Snyder in there. I don't. I'm sorry. Like everything dark and dreary and washed out and all that. And I know that's like DC's jam or something like that. And I get it. It swung the opposite way. Like they made it too bright and cheery, and then we get Wonder Woman 84. I get it, but they got to find somebody who.
Oh God. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're swinging the pendulum both ways, and we need to find something in the middle.
This is Wonder Woman 84 is a prime example of a director getting so much praise that she thinks she can do no wrong. And Patty Jenkins, prior to this, was getting a lot of praise.
I'm gonna drop a bomb and say that's another movie I still ain't seen yet.
It ruins the continuity for a start. Wonder Woman 84.
Okay, yeah, because I saw the first one, and the first one was fucking amazing.
It's fucking amazing. Yeah. Wonder Woman, the first movie, is absolutely brilliant. There's that scene when she was fighting the Kaisers and she got the lasso out and whipping them. I was brought to tears, but I thought, yes, they're doing Wonder Woman.
Sam cried during the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, I mean, but Wonder Woman 84, like it was Patty Jenkins was trying to get the spirit of the Richard Donner Superman movies. That stupid sort, and it felt. When you watch Superman 3, for instance, it works for that period, but it doesn't work today.
Yeah, when you go back and you watch it, and now you're like, okay, it's not.
Yeah, but you can have nostalgia goggles for those. But if you try to do that today.
Yeah, exactly. Even though Wonder Woman 84 is set in the 80s, and obviously Richard Donner films were made in the 80s, it just doesn't work today regardless. And it just, it's not just that, but it doesn't feel like a natural continuation from the previous one.
Mm.
You know, so like you think, and like there's continuity errors as well. So like, what the fuck's going on here? You know, like I was very disappointed with Wonder Woman 84.
Good to know, because I've
Yeah.
like stayed away from it because like it got bombed by a shitload of people when it came out.
I
Like people
mean-
were like, I did not like this movie.
Okay, I will play devil's advocate here, only in saying I think DH it's worth a watch.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I
I'll
agree.
watch it at least
I'll go with
once.
that too.
Yeah, I'll
But,
watch
I
it at
mean-
least once.
But I mean, Zam's right. Like it fucked with continuity. It screwed with I mean the character and honestly, I mean there are parts where you are very cringeworthy. So
Okay,
I mean,
now I know going ahead. Okay, thank you.
so
Yeah, I've been playing. I'm gonna do a shameless plug. I've been playing Dying Light 2. If you guys like zombie games, get that fucking game. It's awesome.
I
Never.
told Megan, I said she probably needs to get it.
I've been having
she loves
a
zombie
really
games.
good time with it. Yeah, I've been having a really good
I
time
can't do
with
that,
it.
man. My anxiety would go through the roof. I can't play games like that. Dark corners and everything. Can't do that.
Yeah, like I played this one particular game. It was like a horror game, and like because you're constantly being chased all the time, I found it very hard to sync. You know, like because like, oh, where do I go? Where do I go? And then all of a sudden the bad guy's caught up with you and it's killed you, and then you got to repeat that all the fucking time.
And in this one, you got to do parkour. So that's what also is interesting about this, with it being a zombie game. You have to fucking parkour and climb shit. And
So
constantly be
it's
on your
more
guard.
active. It's more
Yeah.
active than even Resident Evil.
Mhm.
Like because Resident Evil is normally like over the shoulder, and you're running around with your gun. And
Yep.
then I know that they've done third person for the past couple games, but you know, I've seen Megan play like just about all of the Resident Evil games, and
7 and 8 weren't too bad though. I really enjoyed those.
oh, she loved 7 and 8. She actually
Yeah.
has them on my gaming channel. She actually has them on there. She played 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8 on the gaming channel.
Those are the ones to play. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the ones to play.
Actually, Daniel wants this was brought up, and I do recall like Wonder Woman 84 was a hot mess, and what she did to the guy who was inhabiting the body of Steve. You know, if it was a reverse role storyline, it would be very plain and simple. And yeah, I agree. She was fucking a guy who was
Spoiler,
not her-
DH, by the way.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
care.
I
She was
figured.
fucking like Steve. I keep thinking Steve Rogers. It's Steve. What's his
Trevor.
name? Steve Trevor. Yeah, Steve Trevor. His spirit was inhabiting another man's body, and Diana knew this, and she still ended up fucking this guy who was inhabiting, who was not her boyfriend, but had her boyfriend's spirit inside him. And this guy was now like, I felt so, yeah, this guy was being fucked by, even though like who wouldn't want to be fucked by Gal Gadot, but nevertheless he never consented to that. And also his body's been taken over by somebody else, and we're supposed to be cool. We're supposed to be cool with that. It's like-
I would love that if this was the whole monkey's paw thing, where it's like Steve Trevor inhabited a body, but like the guy that he inhabited had ED.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, but would that still? Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah.
So I had like a monkey's paw situation like that. Like, oh, you got him back. Yeah, but you can't bang him. So sorry. I mean, I'm sure they'd find a way. But
Speaking of inhabiting, I think it's time we discuss Peacemaker, boys.
oh, that's true.
There's a
That's,
DC character. There's somebody who's part of the DCEU that I mean, this is the best DCEU stuff ever.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
their and keep in mind, it's their first technically it is their first DCEU television show.
They're killing it. Yeah,
I mean-
this one's going to be tough to top with whatever they come out with following.
Well, I'm hoping they do a season 2 now. Like,
They
I'm
will.
sure
no ifs
they
or-
will.
no ifs or
I'm
buts. I want
convinced.
season 2.
Yeah.
You know, like, I want to do a quick breakdown, like we were doing a whole stream of this, because I like the way it began. You know, with finding out what happened to Peacemaker's brother. Like, you know, Chris killed him. You know,
Yeah.
and it's fucked up because his dad would organize fights, but and try to make money out of it for his sons to beat the shit out of each other.
Mhm.
But and for a long time, Peacemaker Chris, he blamed himself, but he kind of came to the realization that it wasn't my fault; it was my dad's fault. and it's absolutely crazy. And I'm really happy with this episode because it tied a bow, or it ended the dad storyline. I thought the dad storyline would continue into season 2, but in a way, I'm really happy that this has been nipped in the bud. This is what good writing's all about. It's not dragging things on. Episode 7 resolved a lot of shit, and now with episode 8, when it comes out next week, you'll focus solely on the butterflies without the dad lingering there as well.
Yep.
So,
and I called the sacrifice that was going to happen. I said there was going to be one that was going to go, and it turned out it was Myrn.
I said the exact. I think I said the exact same thing.
The exact same thing. We were like, it's going to be somebody's going to go, and I think we were all like, yeah, something tells me it's going to be Myrn, and it was sure enough, fucking Myrn.
Mm-hmm. Well, once we found out he was a good guy, Butterfly, I knew that by at least by the last episode he was done.
Mm-hmm. If he was going to make it through this one, he would have died anyway.
Yeah.
I've never seen I've never been so heartbroken to see a butterfly die.
Dude, and if you think about it, they kind of did it nonchalantly because like I feel like it was just like not nonchalantly. Like they gave it a lot of pop and circumstance like it should have, but maybe not pop and circumstance. But like she held him in his hand and she's just like and then just threw him away. Like I'm like, oh my god, that was Myrn.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's Myrn. Oh man.
Because I knew as soon as they shot him, I'm like, okay, well,
that's
maybe he'll hide out in the body, and then
no, he left the body for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they have to if there's not oxygen coming to the brain. Like,
and then they die. Yeah, if they don't get enough oxygen to the brain.
Because I think they said that they breathe our oxygen, so they just can't eat our food or something like that. So
yeah.
So maybe if there's not oxygen coming to the brain, maybe they have to like vacate the premises.
It was so funny, like they realize the police are after them, so they go on the run, and there's Economist, Peacemaker, Vigilante, and Eagerly in the van, and they're on the run, and they're fucking like playing air guitar in the fucking van, even though they're on the run from the cops. But then eventually
they're like, "Are you seriously gonna rock out right now, dude? There's no time. There's no wrong time to rock." And then fucking later on, like 20 minutes later in the episode, one of them wants to rock out, and I think it was Peacemaker looked at him like, "Dude, this ain't it. This is not the time. Now we don't do this shit. We got to go take care of business." I thought that was funny as hell.
Well, White Dragon comes in there, like fucking like an evil version of Iron Man, hits their van and stuff like that, and then like it's really funny as well because like Peacemaker's on the Daniel Vance, by the way. I just want to quickly read his comment. I've loved it if we found out that this is Val Zod Superman universe. A black Superman would have fit perfectly into the white national spheres. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, they were losing their shit over gay Superman. Even though it was Jonathan Kent, but if it was Clark Kent, I wouldn't give a fuck because it's a fictional character in the day. But and they can always make different versions of it. But nevertheless, going back to
White Dragon shows up, and
did you tell me you guys have seen Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah.
So when Peacemaker was running away from the white supremacists in the woods, for a brief moment it reminded me of Indiana Jones running away from the natives after he stole the idol and he lost the idol to Belloc, and then he made the natives chase him through the jungle and stuff. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit, but it's fucking Peacemaker and the white supremacists and stuff like that. But I did like that scene. I like Eagerly in it as well.
Eagerly shines again.
Here's my Eagerly. Here's my Eagerly.
Yeah.
I want to give her a hug, but she's not having it.
Yeah. But Eagerly was the MVP of this episode for the second week in a row.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I would, I know when White Dragon man hit Eagerly, man, I was broken up.
Bastard.
Yeah, I was broken up. I haven't felt like that since the episode of What If when evil Doctor Strange ripped up the bloody cloak of levitation.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, Clokey, no,
Clokey. It's like Clokey and Loki.
But I think it was kind of ironic that that when Peacemaker finally killed his dad, he shot him with what looked like one of those German World War II pistols.
It looked like a revolver at first, and then you realize, like, oh shit, okay, that ain't a revolver. It looked like it from a distance.
Old school gun, dude.
Yeah.
Area. very old school gun, and it looked like something you would see the Gestapo, or in Marjorie Taylor Greene's case, the Gestapo.
I feel like that was
Gestapo.
very. I feel like that was very. What's the word I'm looking for?
Gazpacho, even.
I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like I fitting, like that was very fitting that because I agree with you, Sam. I noticed that. I'm like, what is that gun? Like that looks like an old World War II style, like not revolver, but like
it looked like a Nazi
but before
gun.
he kills him, he's like, dude, you're always gonna be like haunted or whatever the fuck it was that he said, and then Peacemaker just shoots him. And I'm like, that's how this needed to end.
Yeah,
I was how they did that.
I was glad that because I was thinking Vigilante was just good. They were going to try to pull a joke, which we can get to the joke here in a minute, which I didn't like. But I thought Vigilante was going to kill him. Like I thought Vigilante was going to
that too. But it made more sense for Peacemaker to be the one to do it.
No, I thought they were going to cop. I thought they were going to cop out and have Vigilante do it because he just seems like he's a sociopath, like which is fine. I mean, he does. He is.
He could shoot you, like he could shoot you, and then he could shoot you, and then you look the other way, and then he's like, "So, what are we doing tonight for dinner?" Like you would think it'd be that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm glad they didn't go that route.
Yeah, I'm glad that Peacemaker got closure here.
Also, prior to that, when they're running away from the white supremacists, Peacemaker realizes that his helmets have trackers on them. And so you don't see this, but you see the aftermath. He puts the helmet on a raccoon, and then you realize that for him to have done that, it must have been like a real painful ordeal because you see his face and it's just covered in scratch marks.
And then when they're in the
like
fucking
deep
car,
ones,
they're in the fucking car, and then like they have to stop because he's like, dude, really? You put these in this fucking trunk? He's like, I thought you needed them or some such shit.
They looked expensive.
Yeah, they looked expensive.
I'm like, they look like tin cans. Like,
well, and the good thing is now with his dad gone, now you can wear those helmets again. And I want to see some more helmet action because so far all we've got is
the extra vision has been the big thing.
But that sonic boom thing, which he killed that crazy bitch in the first one.
That was probably the most he's done with the helmet.
Yeah, so I want to see some more helmet action. You know what I mean?
X-ray vision.
Like I said, I want to see some more. Like we've only got 2 bits in this whole season. So
no, I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, the
X-ray and the sonic boom have been the 2 big things that he's done. Yeah.
He needs to somehow, instead of having a variety of different helmets, he needs to somehow combine all the tech in one helmet. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's funnier that he has like different helmets.
It's funnier that he's got different ones because there's going to come a time where it'll be like he'll need something for something else, but he'll accidentally have the wrong one with him, and he's going to have to make do with what he's got.
I mean, I get it; it might be annoying, but it's almost like an RPG where you have to keep switching equipment in an RPG. Like this boss is weak to water, this boss is weak to lightning. And you got to keep switching your accessories out for the boss.
Yep, I can see that with Peacemaker.
I'm very happy as well that we got the return of Judo Master because once again he escaped, and there he is, this little green leprechaun, as this one guy said, drinking his drink, and he gets a couple of people make fun of him, and of course you just know that he's gonna kick their fucking ass,
and that's exactly what he did too.
Yeah,
he just started beating their asses like they owed him money, and that was so awesome.
Dude,
I beat the fuck out of him.
I lost my when he came to the hotel. And he's like, ding dong, bitch. I was like, oh god.
No, but I laughed as well, like when the fucking shopkeeper gave him a thumbs up, and I thought, he's being a bit of a hero here now,
I kind of figured he was going to join the team by the end of the season. Like,
he hasn't joined the team officially.
I know, but I feel like he is.
Yeah, but he might.
He's in the intro credits. Like, I mean, he's on John Cena's shoulders. Like, and I get it. Like, they were doing that for laughs, but at the same time, I'm like, come on, like, you got to put this guy on the team.
The one thing that was hilarious was at the very beginning of the episode when they were going through the shit, trying to get the fuck out. He's like, where the fuck is Judo Master? Judo Master was supposed to be here. Fuck it. It ain't our problem. Let's go.
Yeah, I like it so much. It's so funny in that sense as well. Like they can't think about it and stuff.
Yeah, they're like, "Fuck it, we'll get him back."
No, he's like, not our problem. Out.
Yeah, fuck it.
And by the way, before I forget, we find out that the diary is meaningless. Like I thought the diary actually belonged to Peacemaker, but it was made up. He doesn't. It's not his diary. It was just. It's artificial. It's just there to incriminate him.
Well, first things
Yeah.
first, he wouldn't write a diary. It would be a fucking journal. Let's get that right.
Yeah, well, it's
Like
probably
you said,
something.
it's like, yeah, first thing first, if I was going to do this, it wouldn't be a fucking diary. It'd be a fucking journal. Boys don't do diaries.
Yeah, but exactly. But I'm happy that kind of been nipped in the bud. But they also find out the rest of the group that Adebayor is Amanda Waller's daughter as well. And then obviously we have the fight scene. And she used to be she used to work in a dog shelter. So from fucking dog shelter to fucking, Argos spy is crazy. Yeah. But they end up, her and Harcourt, they end up fighting Judo Master. I thought somebody was going to die here. I thought maybe Harcourt was going to die here, actually. But eventually they turn the tables, and now Harcourt is now the new leader of that group. Now Mernstead.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, people get Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
I love seeing the kidnapped people get Stockholm syndrome and went to fight with Peacemaker's gang. I mean, that's the quickest case of Stockholm syndrome I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, that went real quick.
I know we're jumping around a lot, but can we, I do want to talk really quick about something that irked me about this episode is the whole vigilant. And I get it. He's a sociopath, so this makes sense for his character. But John Cena was given a banger performance after he killed his dad. And then you've got the whole Taika Waititi thing where Vigilante's like they're nice feelings, or why are you doing face exercises?
I'm crying, you idiot, or some shit that he said. Yeah.
That whole thing, that's a very Taika Waititi Thor Ragnarok thing, and it just that irked me to no end. And
yeah, it kind of threw it off. It was it should have just been a proud badass moment.
Well, and
they had to fuck it up. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, John Cena was giving us a banger performance right there. He's doing really good in this show. I'm more surprised than I thought I would be.
Yeah.
Well, what I like about it is that when I'm watching him, I'm not thinking, I'm watching John Cena. I think I'm watching Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest compliment I can give him. Regarding this, I know, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Like I've always said, I've said this word about him many times. He's talented, so I'm not surprised.
He finally found his niche. It took him this long to finally find it, because I think, like you said, he's been dying to do shit like this because he's never gotten to do this kind of stuff before, and this is something totally fresh. He's reinvented himself with this role.
Yeah, he's wasted his potential in the WWE, his fruity pebbles. And somebody said, would he survive in the Attitude Era? Yes, he would.
If they let him go, hell yeah, he could survive.
Of course he can, man. The guy can give attitude if he had to. You know what I mean? We've already saw him as a Dr. Fuckonomics. Of course he could fucking survive in the Attitude Era. So there's no doubt about that in my mind. So yeah. But yeah, okay, let's let me continue. So we finally find out what the cow is. And it's not like a regular cow. Because these aliens, these butterflies, they do have a weakness, and it's their food. Because they can live on this planet, they can breathe our air, and they can drink our water, but they can't eat our food. Yeah, so they need their own food supply, and this is going to be their Achilles heel, which is good to know. It's not too complicated. You stop their food, and they have to leave. And they brought this gigantic, their version of a cow. And have you guys seen Starship Troopers?
Yes. I know where you're going with this.
It reminded me of the brain bug.
Yeah.
From Starship Troopers, the cow. This thing was fucking huge, though. This thing encompassed the whole.
I'm not going to be surprised if it's like a Resident Evil type of fucking thing when they got to go fight it. And next
shoot the eyeballs.
Yeah, it's going to be like a big fucking tub of shit.
If anything, I think there was a sympathetic angle to it, because this cow looks like it doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
It looks like it's very, it looks like it's, you see the milking the fuck out of it, and it looks very unhappy.
Yep.
So I do think Peacemaker is going to put it out of its misery by killing it, because if you kill it, then that's it. Their food supply is done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's good to know that with the dad out of the way, and even though maybe the aftermath of the dad might come into play, this this final episode is going to be focusing solely on the butterflies. Do you think we're going to get any cameos from other members of the DCEU?
I
I
Not
wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go there. Not yet. I'd save it for
well,
season 2 if it was me.
Yeah, but sometimes you need to like throw in that. If you're doing season 1, you might, and you don't know if you're going to get a season 2, you might need
You
to
could
throw
throw
in
in
that.
you could maybe throw in maybe a couple of the Suicide Squad, but I wouldn't bring
I'm
everybody
thinking
back.
Justice League. Like, what about Wonder Woman and the Flash? They come in and because
I
we
could see
haven't got
Superman being a total dick and just showing up and acting like he did shit, and it'll be like, see, this is my problem with you motherfuckers. Like, I have this problem with Batman. Batman's this motherfucker. Superman is this pretentious fuck, and he could just go on a whole monologue about how how his superheroes friends suck. Like, that would be hilarious.
If there wasn't controversy with Henry Cavill, I would immediately throw Superman in the mix. But I just don't feel he's going to be there.
What controversy with Henry Cavill?
Like he's
how he
regarding
left?
How he's not Superman anymore.
Oh, okay. I thought there was some kind of controversy, like they didn't want him involved in anything because he did something. I'm like, what did Henry Cavill do?
I'm just saying regarding the fact that it's not really confirmed that he's still Superman.
But it would have been it would be hilarious though if they had Superman or Batman show up just to save the day, and they had nothing to do with any of this shit.
It took their spotlight and everything.
Yeah, and then Peacemaker just goes off, and that's how the fucking season ends. He just goes off on a long-ass monologue.
As I said earlier, Superman had X-ray vision, and he must have seen these butterflies at some particular point. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see him be aware of what's happening and come in to save the day. But once again, Henry Cavill hasn't been confirmed to play Superman in a long time.
Yeah.
And he hasn't worn the cape in a few years now. So will he come back in this? I doubt it. If he does, it'll be one of the best things ever.
If anything, we're going to see Waller. I mean, I know she'll show up. If anything, she'll be in it.
I don't think. Well, I mean, she was only in the first episode on a screen, so maybe she'll show up.
It might be that, if that.
Yeah, that would probably be what I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my opinion, I don't want any cameos. I don't want any, and otherwise they're just doing what Marvel's doing. That's what they do. Every season finale, we get some kind of big cameo, big debut, big whatever,
Yeah, the Shield. There was one year they brought in Nick Fury for a couple episodes. He came in.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for next week. I'm going to be really upset when the show ends.
Because now it'll be we're so used to talking about Peacemaker, and now we have nothing to talk about.
Oh, you could always watch. You could always watch Star Trek.
Oh no!
Or Star Wars.
I'll let you guys take that because
you gonna watch Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, yes.
I will. Well, we'll be doing stuff on that. That's in a couple weeks. So.
Okay, good.
But regarding DC though, there isn't anything television show wise, which is a shame. And like I said, this is Warner Brothers not pulling their finger out their ass.
I think the next one that's slated is that Gotham series that's based on the Batman. I don't know when that's coming out, but I think that's the only other thing I've heard.
I thought that was either this year or next year.
Gotham series?
Happening. Yeah.
Yeah, it's based on the Pattinson movie. So
is it a prequel?
I think it's I don't know. I don't know if Pattinson's actually in it. Hold on. I can look it up while you guys keep talking.
And I think this is the year too. Speaking of Gotham and Arkham and Batman and all that shit, we might be finally getting some updates on Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights this year, which I hope those games finally start making their way out.
Well, the Super Bowl is obviously you are very much aware. Mm-hmm. And I want the Cincinnati Bengals to win because I despise Stan Kroenke, even though he owns my football club. He's a despicable human being. But
they're going to show something for the Super Bowl, most likely.
I'm hoping DC. During the commercial breaks of the Super Bowl, we get to see some interesting stuff. There's I know you're not into Star Wars, but there's an Obi-Wan Kenobi poster that came out the other day, and I'm hoping now the trailer for that will be shown. A lot of people are banking on the Super Bowl to show the trailer for that series.
That'd be smart. That's how they make their money.
Yeah, I mean, but personally, I think the days of television trailers are long gone. Like you just throw something on the internet and
Yeah,
like
it's
people
not
are
like it
watching
used to be. It's not like it was 20
Yeah,
years ago when you didn't know what was going to happen for trailers.
yeah,
Like you saw it, like when
yeah.
when Halo came out for Xbox, people lost their fucking minds.
All right, so you guys, go ahead.
Actually, I want to quickly talk to you about Halo, by the way. Like, I know it came out last week, and I spoke briefly about it last week. But are you pissed off that it's not being set on some foresty, lush green paradise world, and it's been set on a fucking desert? This television show.
I don't even know much about Halo, to tell you the truth. I mean, I played a couple of the games, but as far
It
as
looks
the
like the
TV series,
Mandalorian as well.
yeah,
You
as
know,
far
like
as the TV series, I might have to give it a watch and see how it kind of
it's on
plays
Paramount
out.
Plus.
Okay.
All right, so just before you guys move on,
Yeah.
The Gotham series is supposed to be set. So you're right, Zam. It's a prequel. It's supposed to be set 1 year prior to. So it sounds like Pattinson might be in it because it says that it is set 1 year. It's secondary to the show, focusing on Gotham City Police Department is also on the way, with the latter 1 year before the events of the Batman.
What is it with DC's love of having a Batman show with no Batman in it? They've done that with Gotham. They've done that with Pennyworth. You know, like they're doing this with this series now as well. What is it with the love?
Well, but
of
hold
the
on.
Gotham?
It says the Batman. 1 year before the Batman places Gotham PD is unfolding during Robert Pattinson's first year on the job as the city's resident nocturnal vigilante. So he might be in it. Like, but I agree. There's also a second show coming out that's supposed to take that basically they're taking the themes of the Gotham TV show on, what was it, ABC or what, NBC or whatever it was on.
Yeah.
CBS. I don't remember what it was on.
Fox,
That
I
show was
think.
awful, by the way.
I know it's awful. The second show is based on Oswald Cobblepot's rise. Colin Farrell's. Colin Farrell signed on to do this show.
Okay, that one I might watch.
Yeah, but that's what the plot of Gotham was. Like the Gordon's, early days and and Oswald Cobblepot's rise. And
so we're rebooting because we're out of ideas.
Well, but this time they need to do it right. If they don't do it right, like, because I mean, Gotham was an abomination show. I'm sorry, like I hated it.
Yeah, me too. I fucking hated it.
I never watched it because I know it. I heard like people did not like it. My best friends were like, "Yeah, dude, don't watch Gotham."
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah,
and I felt bad because I liked a lot of the actors in there, but just, I mean,
the writing was off.
Oh God, the writing was awful. It was so bad. I mean, you had Batman villains before they were before Batman, like years before Batman.
Yeah.
Like I was okay with Penguin showing up because obviously he was supposed to be rising to power and everything like that. But throughout those years, but you got Scarecrow showing up and Mr. Freeze showing up and Poison Ivy showing up. And
the first thing that Riddler does, the first thing when you get introduced to Riddler is that he's just throwing out riddles. Like, instead of like communicating, he's like, he works for the police as like some sort of forensic guy for the police. Yeah, and he's throwing out riddles to the
for
police.
real? They
like,
oh my God.
And we see like Pamela Ivy, Poison Ivy Pamela Isley, Poison Ivy as a child in this. Like, they're just throwing out cameos and like tidbits like for the sake of it, and it just
DC, don't do that this time.
It was really frustrating.
Don't do that this time.
Yeah.
Really build this shit up. If you're gonna do it right. Don't do what y'all did with Gotham.
It started off, I have to admit, like, it started off really well with the death of Bruce Wayne's parents. Like, you see Bruce Wayne fall on his knees and scream, like, really scream. I thought, wow, that is really a good way of
like he
portraying
really sold it. Yeah.
Yeah, but then other than that, everything was shit. After that, you know what I mean?
Well, and I had no problem with them starting off the series with that, but then Bruce just needed to be gone. Like they kept on finding ways to involve Bruce Wayne and everything, and I'm like, you guys.
I did like Alfred. Alfred, I liked it. They instead of him being posh, they played him as a Cockney.
Yeah, well, and as I said,
like telling Bruce Wayne, "Get your ass down there."
And as I said, there's a lot of characters on the show that I liked. I liked Gordon's actor and the way he played it. Bullock was great. Jada Pinkett Smith's character was okay. The writing just like destroyed. What was that? Fish Mooney? Was that her name?
Fish Mahoney.
Fish Mahoney, and they just, I mean, they just
She was a new
destroyed her character.
Yeah,
But she was
a new
actually a pretty
character.
cool character in the beginning, but then they just destroyed her by the end of the first season.
I'm actually I encourage new characters, by the way, because then they end up becoming part of the lore and stuff like that. So
Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Well, I think even like, Carmen Falcone, was he initially introduced in Batman Begins?
No, he's been around for.
Oh, fair enough. All right, fair enough.
I'll double check. I'll fact check myself.
That really but Batman Begins got him the exposure.
Yeah,
for sure, and then he became a household name because of that. And I think John Turturro is playing him in The Batman as well. So yeah.
Yeah, he was introduced in 1987, so in Batman 405. So
Daniel Wanson said Raised by Wolves just began season 2, if not season 1. But yeah, I need to watch that. By the way, it's just so much to watch.
Content, not enough time.
Yeah, like for instance, I made an effort. I mean, I wanted to. There's one particular show I wanted to watch. I didn't end up watching, but I did watch Reacher. Oh yeah, I wanted to watch Pam and Tommy, but for some reason it's not on Disney Plus in the UK when it should be, but it isn't. Even though it's advertised that it is, but it isn't. I want to watch Pam and Tommy really badly.
We're not going to get any of that on here.
Yeah, it's on Hulu, but it's a Disney Plus show, which is weird. But I really want to watch that show. But I watched Reacher. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that. Have you seen that?
Not yet. No, I do plan on watching it, but I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it. I'll probably try this weekend.
Did you ever watch Jack Reacher 1 and 2, Jose?
No.
All right, fair enough. It's got Tom Cruise in there in those movies, but
Tom Cruise.
He's basically like an American. The guy Jack Reacher. He's basically in this series because let me step back. In the books, Jack Reacher is about 6'5", built like a brick shit house, and he's also a very, very intelligent man. He's a bit like a military version of Sherlock Holmes. Yeah. But because Tom Cruise played him, he wasn't 6'5", he was more like 5'5". But in this series on Amazon Prime called Reacher, he is being portrayed by somebody who's like 6'2", but the way they do the camera work, he looks like he's 6'5". And so he looks tall, he's jacked, and he's very smart as well. And you very much appreciate that all of these sort of bits. He can fight, he really can fight, and it's a decent show. It's not the greatest, and it's nothing really that original, but it's a decent show, and I very much enjoyed it. So I reckon it's with a familiar character, and it's played by an actor you've seen before. This guy, I forgot his name, something Richardson. I think Alan Richardson, who's played Aquaman in Smallville. And he played Hawk in Titans, and now he's playing Jack Reacher as well. And it's really funny because without giving too much away, like he's kind of almost on the autism scale as well. He's a bit weird like that because of, you see Sherlock Holmes. If you've seen Sherlock Holmes, you know what I mean regarding that autism scale. He's a bit, because like I said, he's very Sherlock Holmes like. So yeah. That too, which it makes it interesting watch, So yeah, I recommend it. That's Reacher on Amazon Prime. So you want to go quickly before we go into wrestling? But I want to leave that to near the end. I want to quickly talk about Book of Boba Fett.
I'll let y'all talk.
The season has ended. The season has ended.
Wait. Well, and before we get into that, I just read something. I'm kind of going through some news articles and stuff. Ray Stevenson was cast as Admiral Thrawn.
I've had him in my cab. I've had him in my cab twice. Ray Stevenson.
Yeah, that's the same guy. The guy who played Punisher in Warzone, right? And what's his face? Volstagg from Thor.
Yeah. I've had him in my cab twice.
I'm reading an article right now. Apparently, the Rosario Dawson let it leak that Ray Stevenson was cast as.
Interesting.
Hold on, I'm bringing it up now.
Because when I think of Admiral Thrawn, I think of a very skinny guy, slender. Ray Stevenson is not a small dude. He's a bulky man. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Thrawn can still be tall but skinny, you know, like the Joker.
Yeah. Star Wars Ahsoka's cast Ray
Uh-huh.
Stevens in villain role. So
I've had him twice. He played Blackbeard on in that pirate show as well. I forgot the name of it now. Black Sails, that's it. Right, so Viking star Ray Stevenson has joined the cast of Star Wars Ahsoka, one of many new Star Wars series setting up shop at Disney Plus. According to Hollywood Reporter, Stevenson is said to have a villainous role in Ahsoka, though he will not be playing the popular popular Star Wars villain Grand Admiral Thrawn.
well, then what did
Okay,
they?
so
Okay, well then I'm sorry. Then that's my fault. I didn't read all the way through before, but
he is, however, expected to play
a villain.
Sorry, we'll scroll up a bit.
Oh, sorry.
He is, however, to play an admiral. Grand Admiral Thrawn is rumored to make his live-action appearance after being named by Rosario
My bad.
in season 2. This won't be the first time Ray Stevens has played part of a Star Wars character. He also voiced Gar Saxon in Star Wars Rebel and Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Ahsoka was one of the many fan favorite characters to make a surprise appearance on the Book of Boba Fett episode 5 and 6. I Return of Mandalorian, who said, "Okay, fine, it's just going on about the shit."
Yeah.
I just want to say regarding Book of Boba Fett, I've noticed that, you know, Dave Filoni's characters are all coming through and they're all shining. But they couldn't wait to get rid of the George Lucas characters like the fucking Gamorrean guards, you know, who were thrown off a fucking cliff. Like, talk about, you know, a way of, I can't think of the word right now, but it's like a metaphor, so to speak, like get the fuck out of here, throwing them off a cliff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when they were squealing as well when they died, it did make me laugh. You're supposed to feel sorry for them as well. But yeah.
Just so you know, just to cap off our last topic, Daniel Vance says I started Reacher last night and on your recommendations. So look at that, Zam, you're making recommendations.
Oh, wonderful.
Pam and Tommy was nothing but boring smut. So I wouldn't go out of your way to, like, I'm just saying, I wouldn't maybe go out of your way to.
Regarding what I heard from Sebastian Stan regarding, because he's playing Tommy Lee in this, is that what people have to try and understand about Pam and Tommy was that even though they were major people in the public eye at the time, their privacy was breached. You know, people found their sex tapes and stuff like that. And even though Pamela Anderson has exposed herself on many occasions and all of that, still their privacy was breached. And that's
this is
really
before the age of cell phones.
Yeah, you know, because it was videotapes and stuff like that they found. You know, so and obviously the girl who's playing Pamela Anderson as well. If you've seen what she looks like when she hasn't got her Pamela Anderson makeup on, you would be surprised that of all the people they chose to play her, it was her, this British actress. But it just goes to show what good acting can do. Like, you know, that you can end up being someone a million miles away from looking like Pamela Anderson, but they just do a makeup job on you, and then you can look like her. It's really good. I've heard that Lars Mikkelsen was taking on the role of Thrawn. He did the animated voice. Yeah, I heard about that too, and that would be a good choice as well. He wouldn't be the most like, you know, he's not like a big name, so to speak. You know, if you want to go for a big name, I mean, everyone keeps going about Benedict Cumberbatch, and personally, we've already spoken about this. He's in everything, so I wouldn't want him as Thrawn as well.
I think it would be a good fit if Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't as big as he is right now, you know, and like in everything. Like, you're right, like in everything. I think he would be a good pick though. But I wouldn't
mind Michael Fassbender.
Yes, Michael Fassbender would be my choice.
Michael Fassbender, he's good age as well,
and he hasn't been in like the spotlight. I mean, Magneto hasn't been very prominent in, you know, since what, Apocalypse. Like, I mean, Dark Phoenix really didn't get him any popularity, so maybe even
and needed Assassin's Creed as well. He needs a hit, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think this would be it. No, I would definitely cast Fassbender.
So yeah, friend of mine from high school does the Star Wars top cards, though he's not allowed to talk much about it, though.
What are tops cards?
I don't know what that is.
Sounds like trading cards.
Oh, for like the shows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
okay, but regards to just going on to Book of Boba Fett, I was kind of surprised how critically panned it was by so many people. Like, I found the final episode like a decent way to like seal off the series.
Mhm.
You know, like
I
it was
agree.
action packed, you know, and all of that. And we got a lot of payoffs as well, like with like the Rancor and so on. But the way people were talking about that final episode, and they shat on Robert Rodriguez big time as well. You would have thought that he committed the cardinal sin. Um,
I didn't think it was that bad. Like as I said, I'm glad we just got some modern day Boba Fett. Now, granted, I mean we could have fit everything that was modern day Boba Fett into literally 2 episodes. Like we could, with
I
45-minute run
I
times.
I just think that they've made him too much of a good guy.
I
For,
agree.
you know, like you get somebody like the Mandalorian, and he's a fresh piece of clay, and you can mold him to where he is. But there are some elements to Boba Fett already, and you know him being a crime lord, like like when they first got Mandalorian, he was already a bounty hunter like Boba Fett, and then they gave him this fatherly role. Fair enough. You got somebody like Boba Fett who's a bounty hunter, and you're trying to make him a crime lord who's not really a crime lord, which is a bit weird. You
He
know, you
just wants to
kind of
be a
take him,
ruler, is what he wants to be.
yeah.
Like he just wants to rule the city or whatever.
You know, like Fennec Shand was more of a fucking badass
Mhm.
than he was, you know, and you know, even like the final part of the episode where Fennec Shand ended up killing off all the mob bosses. You know, people said Boba Fett should have done that, and I agree to a degree.
I agree
But
too.
I'm not too fussed that Fennec did it. And people keep saying that that Boba's spotlight was taken from him and stuff like that. You know, it's just I want more badassery, but I kind of accepted that this is Disney, so it can only go so far.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
but here's the thing. It's just like, I mean, and I've said this since the first couple episodes. It's like this show did this show did other people favors, like the Mandalorian and Fennec Shan and all these other people.
and Luke
But like,
Skywalker.
and Luke Skywalker, like Grogu even. But like this show has done no favors for Boba Fett. Period. Like I cannot think. I mean, except for the Rancor scene that was really cool and gave Boba Fett like a really cool scene, like fight scene. What else has this show done for Boba Fett besides escape the Sarlacc pit, ride a Rancor?
It's not, and also like
That's it.
with the return of Grogu as well. Like what happened at the end of season 2 of the Mandalorian is become really shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is there's no consequence, so there's no stakes or anything like that. Like they've realized Disney have realized that the Mandalorian is not Mandalorian; it's the Mandalorian and Grogu show. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's where they're going with it. And I'm just a bit upset, you know, like and all of that. And plus, obviously, with the way they portrayed Luke under Disney as well, like we do know he's going to be a failure as a master eventually, and it's a real shame because it goes so different. It's so different from the books, because in the books he has a whole Jedi Academy and he has other Jedi's and there's younglings and stuff like that. There's none of that in this universe, you know. So, but I've heard rumors that they might be doing like a Star Wars show after Episode 9, and these Jedi's have attachments and stuff like that, and maybe Rey will end up being the new Grandmaster and stuff like that.
God, that.
Well, there's not much you can look. Honestly, there's not much you can go with because she theoretically is the last Jedi, you know. So you have to go with Rey, even if she's not the most popular choice. You know, she's there. She's carrying the baton. You know, we saw at the end of Rise of Skywalker how all these dead Jedi's were telling her to get up. You know, like fucking Mickey from fucking Rocky 5 telling Rocky to get up. You know, he's got one more round in him because Mickey loves you. You know, so yeah. You know, anyway, fuck all that. I'm glad this show's over. It's good that we're waiting a few months until the next one to a degree, I guess. You know, maybe it'll reset my kind of problems with Star Wars and just hopefully the new show will relight my fire and I'll be happy again. Who knows? Anyways, Book of Boba Fett. I'm glad the chapter's ended. I'm glad the book is closed.
Until
season
Disney
3 of
was more willing
Mandalorian.
to open it again.
Well, it's basically a setup for season 3 of Mandalorian, which will hopefully come at the end of this year. So let's move on to the wrestling. Now, Shredder, he posted on Nerd Nation the match between CM Punk and MJF. Now, I was kind of surprised. I'm not sure if you were, that this match was on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell is this match on free-to-air television?
They gotta do what they can to get the people to watch, man.
By the way, if none of you or if anyone watching is not a part of Nerd Nation, which is our Facebook page where we post all of our stuff, well, a lot of our news and information and stuff, it's right there in the chat.
Yep.
I guess, but like, it's funny the way, because the way the match ended was very television-like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I'm not sure how I feel about this match, because I think Shredder was waxing quite kind of lyrical about it, and it was a very technical match. You know what I mean? It really was.
Yeah.
And the pace of it was okay and stuff like that. And by the way, I call MJF Michael J. Fox. But I just thought it was all right. Like, they had some good moments. Like the reverse Hurricane Rana was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
One of the highlights for me, and so on. But what did you think of the match?
I thought it was actually a really good match, and MJF going over, that's the way it needed to go, because he's the future. That kid, he's like in his 20s. He's going to be a superstar, and the rumor is WWE wants to sign him when his contract is up. And I'm like,
they'll ruin him.
Don't go there. Don't even go there. Stay where you're at.
Yeah,
you won't be happy there. But
they'll ruin him. He'll be lost in the mix.
Yeah, MJF beating Punk is the right call to go. I thought it was a really good match for what it was. I mean, I've seen better from MJF and I've seen better from CM Punk. It was a really good TV match.
Yeah, I mean, like, the best TV match I've seen in recent years. Actually, I won't even go back to recent years. Is obviously Shawn Michaels versus John Cena on Raw.
Yeah, on Raw, that's probably my favorite TV match of all time.
And it went on forever. It was surprisingly good.
Yeah. Bret Hart 1, 2, 3 Kids, another one for the WWF title that I could go back and watch right now and still be in amazement.
Yeah, but seeing that match, it was a decent match. It was it was a bit slow. Like, it wasn't paced. Like, it was paced a bit slow. Kind of surprised by the pace of it and all. But it went on for a while. It went on for a very long time. Like, it was like about 35-minute match. It wasn't a short match. It was a decently paced match. But the interference at the end, I'm not sure if that made things better or worse.
Yeah, because you could kind of tell like where they're going with this Wardlow MJF shit. Like, they've been kind of teasing it a long time, and if you wait too long, it'll get to where people aren't going to care about it. So it's kind of like, when are you going to pull the trigger on Wardlow finally saying, fuck this shit, I don't need you, and they're going to turn him face, but we're still waiting.
I don't think they're going to turn. Well, I mean, I don't know anything about the ins and outs of all of that, but from what I did pick up, he's not going to be face anytime soon after giving the brass knucks to fucking MJF to knock out CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really surprised at first when CM Punk got choked out and the match was over. But then I looked at the time and I realized, yeah, they're going to restart the match.
Yep, and that's exactly what they did.
Exactly what they did. And but CM Punk lost again in that match, and yeah, it was,
this is his first official loss in AEW. And honestly, it was the right call to go. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. MJF won.
He can't win everything, you know what I mean?
And I hate to be that dude, but I think the CM Punk homecoming nostalgia, him being back, it's worn off with me. I'm like, I've seen you. I know what you can do. The return in Chicago, return debut, whatever you want to call it, was amazing. But now it's like the honeymoon is over, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So, yeah. So, this was the right way. This is the right call. If this was if this was WWE, well, I
If
can't
it
really
was
say this
WWE,
thing.
they'd rematch it over and over and over again.
And yeah, but it's not. It's really hard to say with CM Punk, but they've made CM Punk lose, and they've tried to kill his momentum on many occasions.
Mhm.
You know, but for argument's sake, if they were on the CM Punk train, they'd make him win in his home crowd because they want all the pops and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But this was this was the right move because MJF needs to get over. CM Punk is over.
Yeah,
I mean,
Punk doesn't need shit. He's a made man.
yeah, he's a made man. So
Yeah.
wait, stop it! You're making too much noise. So but yeah, Punk's a made man. So yeah, MJF needed that win, and you can tell after the match was over that he was probably thanking him and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know how you can tell when wrestlers they get really close, with their heads and stuff. And
Yeah, like
he's
when
trying to come-
Austin retired, he went out on his back and The Rock pushed the referee away. He's like, "Hey man, I love you. Thank you for all the years of, all that you did." And MJF was probably saying like, "Yo man, thank you for what you did. You helped make me." And yeah.
I always find it weird though, when people like The Rock and people like Triple H and stuff, when like they don't need the wins. Like with Triple H, when he fought Batista to get his win back on Batista, because Batista had always beaten him and all of that.
I looked at it as just another match by the time they finally fought. I was like, this is another match. It ain't nothing big.
But Triple H just wanted to get his win back by the looks of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like Triple H needed the win. Like even like when Brock Lesnar fought Undertaker.
Yeah.
Did he need to be the one to break the streak? I mean, don't get me wrong, it has helped his credibility, come to think of it.
Yeah. Actually, looking back, I was pissed when they did it, but then you look at Undertaker in his later career, and I kind of start to wonder, maybe the streak was really all for naught, because Taker started kind of hanging around way too fucking long when he really didn't need to be.
Yeah, he became too much of a cameo guy and less of a mainstream.
But who else could you conceivably see beating Undertaker at that time? I don't think there was anybody else that could have beaten the Undertaker.
Well, somebody like I'll go back to CM Punk.
Yeah, maybe he could have done it, but even then, he was already kind of a made man.
CM Punk, like people that you got, like even then, I think Randy Orton fought him at WrestleMania. Is that correct?
Orton could have done it. That would have been cool.
I mean, there's nothing worse than being the legend killer and losing to every legend.
Yep.
Every main legend around.
I could remember when Hogan came in and had to pull the old greatest move of all time, that doesn't work for me, brother card. He played that card and he beat Randy Orton. And I'm like, what the fuck? You had like a 52, 53-year-old man beat a 26-year-old. What kind of fucking sense does that make? And then speaking of getting wins back, Cheeto's going to hate this. WrestleMania 6, Warrior beats Hogan. What happens 8 years later? The worst match in Halloween Havoc history, Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior in Halloween Havoc 98. One of the worst matches of all time, possibly the worst. And they just did that just to give Hogan his win back. Made no sense.
Yeah, it's just I'm surprised Hogan never got his win back off fucking The Rock. The way he is, because The Rock's fighting 2-0 right now, and that's it.
Hogan beat him in a tag match, and he probably figured, okay, I pinned him in a tag match, so I got him there. But one-on-one, he's never beaten The Rock.
Well, shit, I don't even remember the tag match, to tell you the truth. It's that insignificant.
They did the NWO. You got to see Austin and Hogan actually wrestle for a few seconds in that match. And that's something that people thought that they would never see.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So, but yeah, just to quickly then go on to Elimination Chamber. Is this Thursday, isn't it?
It's going to be next weekend. I think the 19th, next Saturday. So there's no need to really do a roundtable. Yeah, there's no need to do a roundtable next weekend because
I thought it was on a Thursday.
No, I don't think this year. Let me check it out.
That's what I heard.
Well, you guys talk.
Because that's why I was surprised you said Saturday, because why I heard it was on a Thursday.
Yeah, Saturday,
Saudi Arabia.
February 19th.
Oh, really? Is it
gonna
recorded
be
or live?
It's going to be a live show. It'll be in the afternoon for me, so I'll be able I'll be able to do a watch along.
It'll be early evening for me as well. So
It ain't going to be too bad for either one of us
yeah,
to watch it.
this is why I'm very much looking forward to this one, because when it comes to other pay-per-views, like it's like fucking 1 a.m. when it starts for us in the UK, because you guys are behind us in the time zone. But with Saudi Arabia being ahead of us, yeah, for once in our lives, we'll be able to watch it at a reasonable time.
Yeah, we can watch it together. Finally, we'll be able to actually catch a pay-per-view together and be like, all right, cool.
I was fighting my eyelids when I was watching fucking Royal Rumble, so
yep.
So hopefully that won't be the case this time round. So
Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. Oh my God! Please, 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 Roman, retire Goldberg.
Honestly,
that's all
I'm more curious. I'm more curious on the women's matches.
Okay, so they're doing tonight. They announced that Naomi and Ronda Rousey are teaming up to face Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville in a women's tag match.
They're gonna wear the most loosest clothes ever, because Naomi's ass is a thing of it's like the 8th wonder of the world.
Oh yes,
you know what I mean, she's got one of the greatest backsides I've ever seen in my entire life, and they're gonna try and make sure that amazing fucking curvature, which one of the Uso brothers happily bangs on a regular basis, is not going to be on display for the world to be distracted by.
And it'll be the same thing with Lita and Becky Lynch, because they're going to be wrestling too. Lita's making a comeback. She originally was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing this," and then she was originally like, "Yeah, no, I don't like them going to Saudi Arabia." Also, Lita, I'm going to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's amazing how your tune changes, when it comes to a paycheck. Yeah, exactly. But still, regardless, it's still risky for them, regardless. Especially for the women. You saw how Saudi Arabia treated the men, who were left behind, and they kind of put them in a predicament.
Yep.
And women get treated far worse out there. So, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I do feel that one day a shitstorm is going to occur. But if the WWE are able to make inroads into that country by having wrestling matches, then good luck to them. But it still feels wrong.
Okay, so here's a tidbit. They're calling it No Escape in Germany. That's what they're calling this. They're not going to call it the Elimination Chamber in Germany. I find that kind of fascinating.
Some people are like finding the name Elimination Chamber and having it in Saudi Arabia to have some sort of...
It's so fucking weird, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I'm watching it more, not because of it's a wrestling show, but because it's in Saudi Arabia.
It'll be interesting, yeah, because let's see, okay, I'll break down the card. WWE Championship. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory versus Riddle versus AJ Styles. We all know what this is. Brock and Roman is happening at WrestleMania. They've given it away. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Did you see the first Saudi Arabia pay-per-view?
Mm-hmm.
I remember very...
Was that the one where DX fucking came out of retirement for the umpteenth time?
I can't
Triple H tore his fucking arm or something.
It was just the crowd that got me, because they've changed it now. They've made it more of an original format where you got actual fans front row.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, you would have these sofas and these sheikhs sitting there.
Oh yeah, people would be walking around the stadium and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but they look like they're smoking, or you guys would call them hookers. In England, we call them shishas.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be smoking that shit, and they're sitting on their fucking sofas watching it, giving very little reaction.
Yeah, now it feels like a show, like when you watch it.
It does. It does feel like a show now. It almost feels like a WrestleMania to a degree.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar's going to win, because they've given it away that it's going to be Brock and Roman. Title for title is most likely what we're going to get.
And they're going to bring the titles together, and then in 2 years' time they're going to
do another fucking brand split, because they got to hit the panic button, because the ratings will be low.
Exactly. So,
Cheeto, you got
but
anything to add, or are you just kind of sitting back?
I mean, it sounds a lot like, I mean, yeah, the brands, like, I miss the days of the draft, honestly. I liked it when it was like every year they had a draft. It kind of shook things up a little bit. I do like the two different shows, just because, I mean, it does kind of split up the mediocrity between, like, I liked it when the shows were pretty hardcore split. Like,
Mhm.
back in, like, I think what, 2007
yeah,
through 2012, or I'm not sure on the dates, but like there were I was always intrigued by the draft and everything like that, but yet it gave people opportunities to go to different shows, get different titles, but you always had your heavyweight, your mid card, and then like your lower title, which would have been I don't know, like cruiserweight or
Mhm.
yeah. They had the cruiserweights on SmackDown, and they had
SmackDown.
and they had the women's on Raw.
Raw.
Which
I believe.
I thought was great, because it's just like, if you like
Yeah.
women's wrestling, go
You're
to
gonna
Raw.
watch Raw.
If you want to watch Cruiser, that's why I watched SmackDown for a while, because I'm like, cruiserweights, the United States title, and the world and the WWE
And
title. I was
SmackDown
like,
was a wrestling show then too. Like SmackDown, when Paul Heyman was running it, it was like you could not miss SmackDown back then in those days.
I mean,
Nowadays, you can't tell a difference.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I liked it when the brand split, because I mean, yeah, I would watch SmackDown more than I would watch Raw, because I didn't care much for what was going on Raw. But but then I would be conflicted, because then the draft would happen, and let's say like Shelton Benjamin got drafted to Raw, and I'm like, oh no. But
Yeah, because I can remember that, like the 2004 draft, they broke up every fucking tag team.
yeah,
And people got pissed. It was like, okay, we get it. You hate tag teams, Vince.
Well, and I feel like, and I know this is going to sound stupid, but I always felt like the draft, like they should have done a tag team draft, where it's like you draft one or two tag teams, but they didn't have enough tag teams back then to actually make that, like, hey, look, these two tag teams are going from Raw to SmackDown, and these two, oh wait, we've just switched the entire tag team division.
Yep.
And
like nowadays, what they do is they swap everybody 2 weeks before Survivor Series, and then they're like brand supremacy, and it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no,
my problem with the draft was that they drafted too many wrestlers.
I agree. Yeah, I think they drafted. I think you should have like maybe 5, like
5 for each show. That's it.
Yeah,
and you can trade maybe a couple guys, but don't do anything more than that.
So, because it ended up being the reverse. It ended up being like majority of wrestlers from SmackDown would be on Raw, and vice versa.
Yeah,
only a handful with only a handful not changing.
Yeah, that's why you need just enough to shake it up in each department, like heavyweight, mid card, and even like jobber, whatever.
And then when they brought back ECW, that was like the stepchild that no one wanted to play with.
See, I liked.
It was a good show, though. Yeah,
yeah. Like except for the name, it was a good show.
If it was literally anything else, it would have been successful.
Yeah, and I mean, even people said it. Like after they changed the name to NXT, like. People said it was a good show until recently, but like people said that NXT was the thing to watch.
But then obviously the brand split didn't mean shit, because you would have guys who were supposed to be SmackDown writing on Raw and vice versa.
They'd go anyway. Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
And okay, but what was the point of it in the first place if these guys are constantly mixing it up all the fucking time? Like, you made it pointless. And oh, by the way, regarding Shane McMahon being fired by the WWE, which is very bizarre. What do you think of that, Jose?
I don't know if it's actually true or not, though, that they actually let him go.
Released him, yeah.
I've heard that, they have, but they haven't. I think Vince McMahon is kind of like, no, dude, you're not wrestling anymore. Like, we're going to figure out what to do with you, but your days in the ring are kind of done. We don't need you in that capacity, which I agree. Because Shane McMahon is in his 50s now. He shouldn't have to be taking suicidal kind of bumps.
Yeah, that's not doing that, but he shouldn't be able to take in the spotlight from people who
and he shouldn't be doing. If he wants to be like an authority figure where you do like the Jack Tunney kind of role where you put him backstage and you be like, all right, this is the match that's happening tonight. It's like, okay, that's one thing. But do I have a desire to see Shane McMahon on my TV anymore? Nah. I don't have a desire to see the McMahons in general on my TV, but we're never going to get away from authority figures entirely.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
No, they really are like, if the Trump family were wrestlers or a wrestling family, they would be the McMahons. You know what I mean?
Well, the
You know,
Trump
like,
family is the political version of the
Of the
McMahon.
McMahons.
yeah, exactly. Because you know, like the nepotism is there to see. Like we get Stephanie all the fucking time, you know, and honestly, she offers nothing. You know, Shane McMahon is good for now and again, but his best years are behind him,
Yeah.
and really he shouldn't be stealing the spotlight anymore.
Vince is a chain
Yeah.
smoker, or rather, he
Yeah.
sounds like it. Like, "Ugh, I had to fire my own son because he can't do what he needs to do. Ah,
You know,
Yeah, but
Okay.
Vince McMahon can't do what he needs to do, and yet he's still got a job.
yeah."
in my opinion, a lot of people assume they went PG because of like the Benoit incidents and stuff like that.
It was the start of it, but what it really was when Linda
Yeah,
ran for Senate.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And even then, like, you know, like there's many times in the PG era when they haven't been PG. You know what I mean?
They've been able to get away with it here and there. Like the PG era is going to dissolve at some point, but by then, will people really give a shit? That's the question.
Well, they want their cake and eat it, don't they? They want to be able to somehow sell toys and video games and T-shirts to kids, and at the same time,
I get it, but
at the same time, try to be edgy.
you can't do
You
both.
know, but it's just it's like who gives a fuck now? I mean, I get more angry with the WWE when they get pissed off with their independent contractors having Twitch channels. You know what I mean? Like they really want to like, you know.
I was
somehow,
listening to an interview with Stone Cold and Jesse Ventura, and when Ventura wanted to unionize, Hogan stooged on him. I'm like, man, if they would have ended up getting unionized, Stone Cold would have never been the big thing that he was. He wouldn't have been making the money that he made.
maybe not, but at the same time, it's better. Yeah, but then you got to get from the other perspective. Like, look how many wrestlers get fucked over, and you see moments like Perry Saturn on as a homeless man and stuff like that. You know, for me, I rather that doesn't happen than Stone Cold being like the sole arbiter of making money. It's better overall that more people have a piece of the pie than Stone Cold having all of the pie. You know what I mean?
Okay, but staying on topic, Becky Lynch versus Lita for the Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch is winning this match. Lita is not getting this title. It's not going to happen.
Or if she does, Becky Lynch will win it back. Yeah, Becky Lynch will win it back at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for Lita being in Saudi Arabia, then I would say you might have a point. But because this is Saudi Arabia talking about, and they're looking at the only wrestlers they know are Yokozuna and Ultimate Warrior, and even though Lita is after that period, she's more probably going to be recognized by the Saudis than fucking than fucking Becky Lynch ever would. I think there's a good chance for Lita in this match.
Yeah,
as I said, I think she might pick it up. Like just by listening to you guys talk about it, I think she's going to pick it up and then probably lose it at Mania.
Yeah, I'm going to say Becky Lynch either way is getting it, keeping it one way or the other, because Lita's not going to have it for long.
Wait, is Lita the champion right now, or
no? She's the challenger.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But either way, if Lita wins this, she's not holding it for longer than like maybe a month.
No, it's going to be like The Rock. Remember The Rock won the belt at Royal Rumble when
dropped it at WrestleMania.
Dropped it at WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean,
all right.
He beat CM Punk for it, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we got the Usos versus the Viking Raiders for the SmackDown tag titles. I don't give a shit.
Who are the Viking Raiders?
These two dudes that dress like Vikings, and
so they're like headbangers.
Viking Raiders. They sound like two NFL fucking football teams.
Yeah, for real. But I don't care. I'm just gonna say the Usos because Roman Reigns and the Usos have been killing it. There's no need to take the SmackDown tag team titles off the Usos right now.
Yeah.
All right. If y'all got anything to add, cool. If not, I'll keep going.
Let's keep going.
Roman Reigns versus Goldberg for the WWE Universal title. The way this needs to go, and I know they won't do it, is Roman needs to be the one to retire Goldberg. But they won't do it because retirement doesn't exist.
Well, for a start, like, this match needs to be quick.
I do not want this going longer than 7 minutes.
Man, if it goes on for 7 minutes, I'll be shocked. I mean, we're talking about a part-timer Goldberg who I don't know how much he's got left in the tank, and he was never really a stamina guy in the first place.
And this is his last match on his deal, and let it stay that way, please.
Because you know what, one of the issues they had when he had his injury against Undertaker was not that they just cut his head and he had a concussion, but the heat of Saudi Arabia as well also then played this part too.
Yeah, this can't go 20 minutes just because it's going to be hot as fuck in Saudi Arabia.
Even if it's in the evening, you know. So I don't know. I mean, all I know, I think this match is going to be not the last match of the night. It's going to be
might even be the opening. Where they...
I'd start with it just to get it out the way.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick match. So it's really hard to know where to put it on the card. Maybe in the middle.
I would say maybe in the middle. That would be the other option. If it's a short match, like you're right. I mean, middle might be a good place for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely not the end. And we're not even talking penultimate either.
Yeah, you start put it in the middle. That's how this has got to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's everybody's prediction? I'm going with Roman because I do not want Goldberg winning this fucking belt.
Unless we hear that he re-ups his contract, I would also assume that it's going to be Roman. Plus, they've already said
Roman and Brock.
Roman Brock. So, I
just find it really hilarious that a country like Saudi Arabia, which is because of like the Israel-Palestine situation, they're a little bit anti-Semitic. But their fans are going to be saying Goldberg. I think there's going to be the irony is going to be lost on them so much. It's going to be fucking hilarious. But anyways, let's continue.
Yep. All right, and then Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss with Happy Corbin. And I honestly don't know who Madcap Moss is.
I don't know who Madcap is. That sounds like a fucking Disney character.
They're going with Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin at WrestleMania, and just to put him on the card. And Drew McIntyre is going to win this match. But either way, I don't really give a shit.
Drew McIntyre is like a top tier guy, but he seems to be...
He's treading back down to the mid card.
Yeah, and which is terrible because he is, like, I've always liked Drew McIntyre. I always thought he was a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And even in the Rumble, he wasn't in there a hell of a long time. I don't think he was, right?
But he had a decent showing when he was in there.
Yeah.
For the time that he was in there.
Yeah,
right.
So
Drew McIntyre.
Let's go with McIntyre.
The fight Corbin at WrestleMania is a joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's sad. Okay, and then the SmackDown women, or the chamber match to decide who faces the women's Raw Women's Champion at WrestleMania. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair versus Doudrop versus Nikki Ash versus a mystery.
I have no idea.
Mystery opponent.
Mystery is going to be whoever
TBD,
loses.
Whoever they decide.
Oh, I feel like the mystery is going to be whoever loses the women's championship match.
Yeah, they might.
I think the mystery, or the mystery will be somebody from yesteryear who can still wrestle. Like a Michelle McCool or someone.
I feel like what they're going to do is as we were saying, like if Becky Lynch loses the title to Lita,
she'll go in the chamber and get it back, and then be like, "All right, yeah, you and I are gonna fight at WrestleMania."
Yeah, I really hope that's not, but because of the Saudi Arabian thing being all about nostalgia, I think they might go with a nostalgia pick.
Or if Lita loses, maybe Lita then comes out and like beats up whoever's on their way to the ring, and she does the heel angle.
Yeah, they did that with Edge. They did that with Edge like 12 years ago when Edge kicked the crap out of Kofi Kingston and beat the crap out of him with a chair and took his spot, and then he won the title.
I hate shit like that because it just makes it just feels like what's the word, like politics. Yeah, I mean, you see the wood for the trees. Like, this is just bullshit. You know what I mean?
But if I've got it my way, I'm going to go ahead and do Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania because the story's pretty easy. Becky came back last year at SummerSlam, beat Bianca in 10 seconds, and Bianca needs to go in there, whip some ass, and be like, all right, bitch, you took my belt. I'm getting it back.
Bianca Belair's the one with the hair. Yeah, I think she's going to win it as well.
Everyone's bald except for her?
No, she's like, her thing is like she's got this big-ass fucking braid that she beats the fuck out of people with.
Yeah, you could use her fucking hair as a weapon.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's
She
that-
actually
it's
did that to
one.
Sasha Banks, and it hurt like a bitch too.
Yeah, so
But yeah, Bianca's gonna win this match. Okay, and then Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Charlotte and Sonya.
Ronda
don't-
Rousey.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey. I think Ronda and Naomi will win it because Ronda's a big attraction. It wouldn't make sense for her to lose because considering she just came back.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's so
And-
many women matches. That's the third one you mentioned, or third or fourth.
Yeah, there's 12 women that are going to be in this card.
No, but how
And
many
that's-
matches?
There is 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know, considering we talk about Saudi Arabia and people were stepping on eggshells when Neidhart and what's her face,
Lacey
Had that
Evans
match.
had a match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, people were seriously treading on eggshells over that.
But
They
I mean,
didn't even have any makeup on or anything. They really made themselves look as bland as fuck. You know.
Well, and here's the thing, like I don't know, so pardon my ignorance, but I mean maybe WWE is kind of changing some of their mindsets over there, maybe like at least in a celebrity sort of view. I don't know, like
Yeah, you
maybe
hope so. You hope so.
Yeah, like I mean that would be good, obviously, but I don't know like the politics and everything in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know. I don't know how it's going to look because I think you have to abide by a certain dress code. Like you can't show like any
Cleavage.
Yeah, you can't show cleavage. You can't really show your skin because they had to wear like sweaters and shit when they were wrestling.
Well, they wore their outfits, but then they wore baggy t-shirts.
Yeah.
Big baggy t-shirts.
Mhm.
So they covered their physique, you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, they said they weren't. I said they weren't wearing makeup, but to be honest with you, I mean, like honestly, apart from maybe like if you're doing like a sort of Ultimate Warrior style of shit, you know what I mean, you don't really need to look like you're going night clubbing if you're going to be having a wrestling match, in my opinion.
Yeah,
anyways,
I agree.
You know, so, but yeah.
But I think this show is going to be a banger. I think it's going to be one of their best ones they might be putting out this year. Because, like you said, the Saudi shows are kind of like a WrestleMania event for these motherfuckers.
It's really sad that that Vince McMahon had to go overseas just to get a WrestleMania level event because WrestleMania has not even been WrestleMania. Like
No,
that I've
it has
heard.
that look, but it hasn't felt like WrestleMania in years.
But it drags, dude. It drags, and like
That
the matches are like repeats and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, like the speciality of WrestleMania. Or
It's
what
gone.
they say
It's not like it used to be.
There's no
Hi, doggo.
yellow there. Riker.
Just in case you guys were wondering what I was doing like I'm like
No,
sitting
I
here
saw
petting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how are we gonna wrap it up now? Just because
Yeah.
it's getting late.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
Mentioned Daniel Vance here, saying, how do you know anything about wrestling past in the 80s? I still have figures in package somewhere. We'll keep them in the packaging.
Dude, you'll be the
Okay.
shit if you have the LJN figures. Nobody will know. These kids today won't know what we're talking about, but the LJN figures, those were pretty big back in the day.
And definitely join us for our watch along, Daniel Vance, and I'll try
Yeah.
and send you a link if you want, so you can watch it as well.
Yeah, because
Of,
we will be going live sometime in the. Actually, shit. What time is this thing going to air next weekend? Because we might have to do our watch along. Like maybe for me, it'll be first thing in the morning when I wake up.
And Daniel Vance also. I will
Maybe
work on
2.
that. I will work on that Young Justice trailer review. Probably be up tomorrow. So.
Yep. All right, guys. But anyway, take us home, Cheeto.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for watching. This is I had a lot of fun, guys. I mean,
Yeah, we got to do this again.
We did it for 2 hours. Well, we're planning on doing these weekly, but
All right,
normally
cool.
they're crossover and stuff. But
Yeah,
I mean,
next time we'll get
those no budget people on here.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that all being said, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Zam, Dioze, also thank you for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed, please give us a like and a comment and consider subscribing to Nerdtube, the greatest YouTube. It's late. The greatest YouTube channel you've maybe kind of sort of heard of. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.